Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Alyson the Crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Thank you for joining us for episode 84 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Alyson. I'm coming at you from Tennessee.
And I'm recording from Scotland.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I messed up again.
So I was reminded by, just doing our intro, the last episode we specifically mentioned that we do a video version of the podcast, and we had at least a couple people comment and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I have been listening to you but didn't realize you did a video version." So for anyone just listening, if you're interested, we do a video version. I don't know if it's because as well, like, obviously we've always published on YouTube, but it used to just be like just audio on YouTube.
A slideshow video, or a slideshow on YouTube. And now we're actually, you see us.
Full-time like vloggers. Would you call us a vlogger? Yeah, anyway, kind of. You're a vlogger. YouTuber. You're a proper YouTuber.
We are proper as opposed to improper YouTubers.
Yeah.
So, BuzzFeed quiz, and I picked this one, and it's a funny one, and mostly because I've been watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Have you been watching that?
Yeah.
So that was part of. It just ended last week.
I think maybe I haven't seen the last episode.
Okay, so we won't talk about
maybe I have. No, I can't remember.
Okay.
Too much TV.
And this one is called "What Marvel and DC Character Combo Best Describes Your Personality?"
Yes.
What did you get?
So I got Spider-Man and Wonder Woman. Did you as well? It says you're smart, funny, determined, and a warrior. You fight hard for the ones you love, and you know how to overcome any and every obstacle that comes your way. I mean, I don't know about the description. Yes, I am smart, funny, and determined. But I do like both of those characters, so.
Yeah, me too. I like both the characters, and I think I'm funny. I can be smart sometimes.
I am hilarious. Right. So, I mean, the last question was you just had to choose Marvel or DC, and I assume we both picked Marvel.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because when I was young, like in elementary school, in middle school, I guess I would have picked DC because there was just too much angst in Marvel comics and from the comics perspective, because my brother was a big comic book collector, and he had all the comic books. and then whenever our mom and dad went out for dinner, or they went out for whatever reason, he would bring out his comic books, and then we had to wash our hands before we left.
Oh God, really?
Yeah. So, and I always liked to read the DC comics, but he did have quite a lot of Marvel comics. Anyway, so questions. Choose a member of the Justice League. Who did you pick?
I went for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I did too.
Although, I think I did watch Aquaman and the first Superman of the current renditions.
I didn't see any of the Batman movies.
I saw the Christian Bale ones, but that looks like the current.
Yeah, that's the current. Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see any of the Christian Bale ones. Do we do all these? Choose an upcoming Marvel show / movie.
I went for Spider-Man.
I picked Thor.
I mean, I feel like. I mean, in those first two answers, that was my answer, right? Wonder Woman and Spider-Man. What is What If? Is that an actual something? Do you know?
I have no
It
idea.
just says what if.
I
You don't know?
I don't know about that. No. Apparently, I'm not that big of a Marvel fan.
I might just skip a couple. What about a new Avenger? Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, me too. I mean, she's
Picked all the
basically like
ladies.
unstoppable, right?
Yeah, she's the most powerful of all of them, I think. I don't know. Scarlet Witch can give her, her run for her money. She's pretty powerful.
Yeah, but she can't fly in space,
No.
as far as we know.
Maybe she can. We don't know.
And then what about the Marvel villain? Killmonger, Agatha, Hela, Thanos, Mysterio, and Ultron.
I picked Agatha.
Agatha. Oh, I went for Killmonger.
Because I thought she was really funny. She even has her own theme song.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's been a while since we got the same thing.
Maybe.
I think so. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't even remember the last one we did. Okay. Crafty content?
Sure. Well, will we talk about the Archive KCAL first?
Yes.
Yeah.
We get.
Well, I'll just say we're recording this on the very last day of the Archive KCAL, but because it's the last day, we want anybody who's got any last minute posts to be able to submit. So we'll insert us pulling the prize winner here.
Here? Right here?
Yeah.
Right. Here. Now.
Right. So let us pick a winner. But first, do you have the prizes there that we can show?
Yes, I do.
So one lucky winner will get
a fancy Keep Calm and Carry On mug that has our logo in the front and our little
intro.
I am Vivian and hello, I'm Alyson in the back. And this yummy skein of yarn is from Thirsty Cat's Design, and it's 75% BFL and 25% nylon, and it is a beautiful. It's got purples and oranges, and it's beautiful hand dyed yarn. Not sure where it's from though. I mean, where it's from, other than Thirsty Cats.
Geographically, you mean?
Yeah, where it's dyed.
Yeah.
But there we go. A mug and a skein of yarn.
Very good. So we have 28 different entries. So a few people made more than one thing or made a start on more than one thing. But just thank you to everyone who participated. Joanna, Rika, Sarah, Lucia, Karen, Emma, Doreen, Heather, Maddie, Angela, Gemma, Violet, Claudia, Jillian, Tamara, Elizabeth, Sandra, and Sophie. And sorry if I mispronounce anybody's names, but yeah, thanks for joining along. And you're either in camp.
Wait, you didn't name all. Are those
are all the
people that
who participated?
Oh,
yeah,
but
that wasn't 28 people because some people did multiple projects.
I see.
Yeah, they're either Camp Vivian, where they actually finished something, or Camp Alyson, where they made a start on something and didn't finish it, or picked up a hibernating project and also didn't finish it, because I did both of those things. So yeah,
good for the people that picked up a hibernating project and finished it.
Yeah. And I think Emma and Maddie both worked on, I think, 4 different projects each. So that was the most amount that one person worked on.
Wow.
Yeah. So the way we'll do it is I've got the list of 28 projects. So we'll have you generate a number 1 through 28, and then I will reveal who has won the prize.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
We need to make some computer noises.
Drum roll.
And the number is 12.
Right, and 12 is one of our people who made 4 different things, and it's Emma, who's M's Little Nest on Ravelry, and the particular project was Ragdoll's favorite shawl. So yeah, Emma we'll send you a message or send us a message if you hear this first to claim
and
your prize.
congratulations on getting your prize. And now back to the rest of the show.
And then you're back. How was that trip into the future?
I'm wearing the same clothes. Or I was wearing the same clothes from before. So how far did you get on your Archive KCAL project?
So my original one is still in pieces. So I didn't. That was the 373 cardigan. I can never remember if it's 373 or 737, but then I remember 737 is an airplane. So is a 373 also an airplane? No, it's not. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. You should ask your pilot husband.
I can see him just there. So he shook his head for me.
Okay.
So my 373 cardigan. And so that was the super fuzzy aubergine colored one. So it's in pieces still. But I finished all the crochet bits. So those are the two front panels. And I've got my big back panel. But most importantly, the thing that I was working on most recently is the sleeves. So that doesn't look like a sleeve, does it? It's because it's like it's a 3/4, and then it's because it's sort of a dropped shoulder. It's like a super short sleeve. It's just like I fold it in half now so you can see. So it looks like that. It's got a slight it would have been a decrease coming. You can kind of see the slope. It's hard to see, but I've got two of them.
Yay! Ooh. So you got all your pieces.
All my crocheted pieces. Now I have to knit. There's a knit rib at the end of each sleeve, at the bottom of the front and back panels, and then there's the knit sort of cowl. Why do I never know
the
how to call this?
shawl collar?
The shawl collar, yeah.
So
that's knit as well.
You don't put it together first and then knit it?
Weirdly, I think the instructions is to do the ribs first and then sew it together. I don't know if that's because you're already sewing it together, so they want the seam to be consistent.
Yeah.
So there's like so I mean, I guess you don't have to, but in any case, I have to stop now because I've run out of pretty much the silk mohair. If I hold it up in a certain way, it looks like it's full, but it's actually very deflated. Oh.
So,
and it's my last one.
Do you have to sew the body together to do the bottom? Is there a bottom rib?
Yeah, there's a bottom rib. But I think that's the same. I think they have you do the rib on the back piece, the rib on each of the front panels, and then seam them together. What?
It is knit separately and then sewn on. It's not picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then
maybe. I don't know. I have the instructions. The very, if we remember, minimal instructions. Body. Work foundation chain to begin, then crochet and pattern stitch. With knitting, pick up stitches. I think that's knitting needles. With knitting, pick up stitches from cast on edge. Work in K1, P1 ribbing. Bind off in pattern. Place back and front shoulder together, seam together with crochet, chain, seam. That's all it says.
Okay.
So yeah, because it tells you to do the ribbing and then seam it together.
And then sew it onto the...
No, you do pick up the ribbing from the
body.
Yeah. With
so
knitting, pick up stitches from cast on edge, which is the foundation stitches. Chain.
Then I would do that after you...
So you would sew it together and then do the ribbing. So would you do the ribbing in the round?
On the sleeves. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't, I mean,
And
unless you don't have the proper needles, then don't. But for the body, I would definitely sew it first
yeah.
and then pick up the stitches.
Uh-huh. Okie dokie. Well, so that's what I need to do. But I need to buy a couple more balls of that yarn and maybe another ball of the Rowan yarn. And then also buy some knitting needles. So, but I feel slightly less pressure to like get it done quickly because I think with doing the actual crochet panels, I feel like if I left a really big gap, my tension could have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it did anyway, but because it's knitting, it's going to be completely different. You know, if I have a 1 month gap, now that I definitely know I'm not going to finish it for the Archive KCAL, if I have a 1 month gap, you know, it won't matter.
Okay, just hopefully you'll pick it up before our next Archive KCAL and finish it before the next one.
Yes,
but that'll be nice and that'll be great when it's done. I mean, it's so fluffy.
So fluffy. Yeah, I don't know. Would you wear something like that with like a shirt that had like sleeves that went all the way? Do you think that would look funny? Because obviously, if you wear a long sleeve shirt to your wrist and then the cardigan doesn't go to your wrist,
I don't think it would look funny. I'm not sure if you want to take.
So what about you?
I finished.
Ah! You didn't think you were gonna finish.
No, I did. To the detriment of my other projects, I finished it.
Oh, yay!
I haven't.
So it's it's your Lovage Sweater.
Yes, I haven't blocked my sleeves yet, but this is my Lovage Sweater by Marie Wallen, and I did color work from the neck all the way down to the hem, and it is beautiful, if I do say so myself.
It is.
I can't wait to wear it.
Just in time for summer.
Yay! Yeah, I'm super pleased with it. But it is very funny shape because it is kind of you know, with its with the positive ease, and it's also a little very roomy, so it does look like a crop sweater when I hold it up.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just wide on me, which is good because I like things roomy.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'll just go like this for the rest of the podcast.
I feel like it is the style of the moment anyway. Oversized.
Yeah.
Just generally.
Okay. I'll stop fondling it.
It's so good.
So hopefully we got other finishers of
projects.
I did pull out the prizes, but I guess it's too late. I'll pull it back out when we announce the winners.
You mean when we announced it in the past?
Yes.
Future.
Yeah. So have you been working on anything else?
Whips wise, I never know if I should put this in I'll put it in whips because it's not actually an FO, and it's kind of the Archive KCAL thingy. So
you finished.
I finished the pine cone. So this is for my Christmas C2C Afghan. I don't know if you remember, probably not, but this is not the original one that I showed you last time.
It's not?
No. It is the pine cone. It nearly looks the same. There's the back. Pretty tidy.
Well,
other
looks
than
very
you
tidy.
can see the floats. It's not the same because I started from the wrong corner, which you wouldn't think there was a wrong corner, but because of the way it works, do you see how these they're sort of like diagonal lines of brown at the top of the pine cone? Or, you know, diagonal rows of the brown.
Yeah. I can see.
And obviously when you look at it on the graph, they should be diagonal both ways. you know, it goes. You can see the diagonal there, but on the graph, there's this diagonal.
Yes.
But they're not really connected.
Yeah, it
There's
looks like
it looks like they're floating. Yeah,
they're floating. Yes.
yeah. So my original pine cone was facing the other way. It was facing this way, but on the front. So the point of the cone was on the other top corner. And that meant that the way that those diagonal lines were floating, they weren't floating that way. They were
they're floating. They're floating perpendicular to
the edges of the pine cone.
Yeah.
So
that looked
rather than them being like rings on the top of the pine cone, it was like the pine cone had spines coming out its top.
I see.
And I don't know that the pattern, because the pattern itself, it's a free pattern on the Make and Do Crew website. I think she does have some like how to do C2C posts and tutorials, but the pattern itself, she just gives you the charts for the most part. And I don't know that if there's like a wrong or right, like you can start at whatever corner you want. And so I've obviously had just started at a different corner than her. I start at the bottom right, but she must start at the bottom left. But I think my way made sense because the way that it's numbered, it's numbered 1 to 25 on all 4 edges.
Okay.
And the ones start on the bottom right corner.
Yeah, that's usually how it's worked.
Yeah, so that's the corner I started at. But then my pine cone looked funny. I mean, there was the floating tops, but also the green sprigs.
They weren't touching.
They weren't touching. Yeah, so they were kind of like floating.
I see.
So I was halfway through, and then I ripped it out. But I've done a whole thing.
Yes. Look, so those of you that are audio only, yeah, you're gonna have to look at the picture.
Yeah, and the pictures we always put the pictures on the show notes, so
yeah.
It should be in a link to the show notes in the show notes. Whatever app you're using, you can look at the show notes, and there'll be a link, and that will link to our blog, which has all the pictures.
Yep. So
that was a whip, and then my other thing, which it's like an anti-whip. It's going backwards.
Something.
Oh. So this is my blurred line sweater, which I haven't really shown in a few episodes. It's mostly intact, but it's lost a sleeve. I've decided to just frog it. Pretty much completely. I'll have a yoke necklace, because the top bit's fine. And so this was the one where
you have a cowl.
Yeah, I'll have like a cowl. I'm petite, I'm short, my mom's short, my whole family's short. We're all I'm just 5 feet tall. That's how tall short I am.
And I'm a towering 5'1".
So I did shorten after I split for the sleeves, but I didn't think to shorten the top bit. My boobs are also not that big, so if I had massive boobs, it would have filled it out, but I don't. So I just have like all this. Do you know what? I'll just put it on, and you can see all the extra sort of space I've got. And depending on like if I try and like yoink it right down, it looks slightly better, but so put it on. It's on the front, looks fine, right? But then, like, depending on, start to have this, like, little, like, flap of fabric at my boobs. You can see that? There you go.
Yes, I can see that.
It's like a boob shelf. Or, not a boob shelf, it's just a sweater shelf at my boobs. And it's just gonna drive me nuts.
And then when the sleeves are attached, it exacerbates that. Because right now you just have a hole for the sleeve, so...
Yeah. So like, if I pull it down, but it's just like, and eventually it'll ride back up, and once it's blocked, like it's only gonna get worse, right? And as you say with the sleeves. So I thought maybe like I'll just finish it, live with it, see if I hate it or not, and then like I'll do the ends. I won't weave them in like super well, so that if I want to frog it, I can. But I just decided I know I'm not gonna like it and it's gonna annoy me, so I'm just gonna rip it out. So it's quite a lot to frog. I did a time lapse of me just ripping out one sleeve, and that took a while because I'm using a 3mm hook, which is decently small. So so yeah, I think I need to take out like 18 rows or something like that from this top bit.
Yeah.
But I'll do more trying on this time. And I think I need pretty much where I need to delete the rows is where the color changes, which is a bit annoying because it would have been nice if I didn't have to do that again. Because so this was the blurred line sweater goes from, it's meant to have 2 colors. It's meant to go from color 1 at the top to 2 in the middle and then back to 1 at the end, but I've used 3 colors. So I've got the cream, gray, and
well, you can do the color
like
change
green
on the sleeve.
Yeah, I could do the color. Yeah, I have to think about it, like where I want to put the color changes, like because I think I'll know how tall I want the sweater. So I'll do a better divvying up of like making them like even sections because I've decided to do the gray collar just to
You
save.
can keep that.
I'm gonna keep it because I do think that if I make it white, I'll get makeup on it and stuff. Yeah. So I'll keep that gray. But the bottom bit, because the bottom bit has a rib as well. I think the green bit at the bottom is longer than some of the other ones because it's got the extra length of the rib. At least the way I like calculated it out. So yeah, I'm gonna work on frogging that. But it is, I mean, it's no fault of the patterns. Like, I don't think, like, the pattern's really well written. It's just, I didn't really think about shortening it there, even though I thought about shortening it towards the bottom.
Is that the last whip you have?
That's the last whip I have, yes.
Okay, I have a few.
A few whips?
1, 2, yes. Is 3 a few? Yes, I have.
Yeah, well, when you said that you finished the Lovage to the detriment of your other projects, I thought that meant you didn't have much else to talk about.
Okay, the hat, I didn't work on the hat at all. The purple hat that that is a whip. It's still a whip. I made no progress since last episode. So I guess that's the only project that was detrimented upon. So after I finished my sweater, I was like, oh, I want to have another FO. And so I picked up my Aleï shawl again.
Oh, yes.
Remember this one?
Oh, yeah. So
this
speckly.
one
Such good speckly goodness.
Yes, it's very speckly. It's got 3 yarns that are speckly, and it's also faded. And so I'm on the last bit where there's no more fade. Oh, I'm attached to something.
So the last color.
The last color, and I'm done with the fading. So I'm just working on the last color, and I have about maybe 6 inches to go in the last color. So as I'm working, so I was so close, but then yesterday I realized there's no way I was gonna finish this. So I was like, so I decided to pick up something else too.
It's a lost cause. I mean, wait. I mean, the fade on that is really nice because I don't think we haven't seen the last color yet because I think the last time you were talking about it, you had faded from that sort of.
I only just started fading the last color, which is
but it's
blues and greens.
It's really good, like because it starts with that pink and purple kind of unicorn colors.
And they're very
and then
close.
And then it goes to that introduces more of the minty kind of color. It kind of goes from a unicorn to a mermaid.
It's a unicorn to mermaid to what is this? To like a seaweed.
Well, I think that like kind of the mint is like the transition between unicorn and mermaid, and then the dark greeny is like mermaid.
Yeah. Well, that was actually hard to see. Sometimes I couldn't tell where like the fade lines
Oh, which
were.
yarn was which?
Yeah, I was like, wait, because there's so many similar
Overlapping
colors
colors.
in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think I did
Ah,
pretty
that I mean, yeah, that is faded to perfection.
So there's that. So I will finish this for the next episode. So my new whip. So yesterday, before so I decided that I want to have another whip for the recording, and it is called Folklore by Amy Gunderson, and this is the Taylor Swift lookalike cardigan, or the lookalike cardigan that Taylor Swift has, and it is put out by Madeline Tosh. It had so anyway, but I didn't use Madeline Tosh yarn because this is going to Madeline, and she doesn't deserve a whole worsted weight sweater made from Madeline Tosh. Because she's at college. I don't know what she's gonna do with it. So I started, and it's a cardigan it looks like one of those collegiate or tennis sweaters in the old days, with the stripes on the sleeve, or on the sleeve cuff,
On
and the
cuffs,
hem of the bottom, and it's got cables and maybe not bobbles, but it's very textured. It's got cables and stuff, and it's a V-neck. And so I
And
decided,
in the video, it's white with green accent. Yeah,
is it green?
I think so. In the Taylor Swift video.
I thought it was like dark blue or something.
No, I thought it was.
I don't know. I've never actually seen the video. I've seen screenshots of the sweater, like in her closet. And
I think I watched it after you told me that Madeline wanted you to make her that. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I actually quite like these songs. Because it appears in 2 different music videos.
Oh, I see. And she sells it on her website too. So I'm using Knit Picks Swish, and it's very soft. And I just picked up cast on a sleeve. So
Ooh, very
that is all
cabley.
I've done so far. I've done one chart repeat so far, 1.5. So there's the cables on the sides, the fat cables, and the skinny cables with the moss stitch in the middle. So yeah, I just ripped through. I finished this much in an afternoon of TV watching.
Pretty good.
So I think this will go pretty fast. I say that as I'm holding not even half a sleeve.
A sleeve bottom, yeah.
The sleeve will go fast anyway. And it's done in pieces, which I don't like to do, but I'm following the pattern. So
yeah, you don't have to wear it, so
no, but I have tried it on my. But I did have trouble with the gauge swatch, so I followed. So the original pattern has you use size 6 needles, and so I did a little gauge thing, and it's probably covered in cat hair because
were they playing with
they
it?
have you do it on a moss stitch. So it looked like I needed to go down 1 needle size. So I picked up and I had it soaking in water as I'm picking up stitches or casting on for the second. And so, I soaked it and I washed it, and then I blocked it, but, had to wash it overnight. So by the time it was blocked and everything, I realized I had to go down 2 needle sizes. Oh. So it actually blocked pretty big. So yeah, I'm knitting the body in a size 4 needle, which is like a 3.0 or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. So that is all I have. And I think I have quite a bit of knitting done in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, even if she doesn't deserve Madeline Tosh yarn, that's going to be a nice sweater.
Yes.
Cardigan.
That's why I was thinking about your bobbled sweater, your cable-y bobbled sweater, because I was...
Yeah, it was a cardigan as well.
Yeah, and when I was looking at all the different patterns, I couldn't find one that looked that close. I kept sending Madeline, and she kept like, no, 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 no. And then she went on, and then she found it just like that on Ravelry. I'm like, how did you find it so fast? And because I was just like, my search tag words were Taylor Swift cardigan, and she looked under folklore, the name of the album. I'm like,
Yeah.
you didn't tell me that was the name of the album. And folklore is actually the name of the pattern, so she found it right away.
Did she know that there was a pattern, or did she just assume there might be a pattern?
No, I think she just assumed. Surely somebody must have a pattern that's similar to it, but not only did then she found the
Ah,
the lookalike one.
yeah. So well, I guess you did have an FO. You had your
My Lovage, yeah. So
Lovage.
yeah, that's a big FO.
Yeah, it is a big FO. So I have an FO, but it's not a crochet FO.
Ooh,
I did some sewing.
you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's what that was hanging in the back. You did
Yeah.
both of them?
No, I didn't do both of them. I made the top, so I made a very sparkly tank top to go with a skirt that I own.
And it looks like a lot of the sparkles had transferred onto your skirt.
Yeah. Yes. So I bought the fabric a while ago. I bought the pattern as well. I can't remember. I bought it on Etsy. The link will be in the show notes and everything. But I knew when I got this skirt that it would be a nice skirt potentially to wear to like weddings from white stuff. It's just a long skirt. It's teal, but it's got like these sort of bronze
Peach
colored. They're a little shimmer, not sparkly, but they're like a bit shimmery gold.
Well, they'll be sparkly after you wear that shirt. We wear the shirt together.
But they look like hand drawn polka dots.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do was to make a nice like cowl front tank top. So I found this pattern, which has the cross straps in the back, and then the sort of dipped cowl in the front.
And you made the strap yourself too?
I made the strap myself, which was impossible. So the fabric itself is very glittery. It's like a rose gold, but I think some of the sparkles themselves are gold, but there's part of the thread of the fabric is a reddy color. So at certain angles it looks very red.
Yes. I can see that when you hold it that way.
So obviously the glitter is held in by some sort of adhesive. So like, my needle was like all gunky, and all the pins I was using, they were all like sticky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't tell when you're actually touching the fabric, but because it was obviously going through the fabric, they got all gluey.
So Sam's gonna be all glittery when you wear it next to him.
Yeah, I think it'll calm down because it's only because I was cutting it and punching into it. I think once it's actually there and you rub it, you don't really get much glitter on you. But especially if if you don't really rub it.
Did you line it with something?
So it's not lined with anything. It is. There's like a half lining at the top, because obviously with the cowl top. What's this? Neck? It's not a neck. It's a bust. I don't know. You can see the backside, so there's a bit of a lining. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And I actually ended up kept making it smaller and smaller. Like I made it too big. So because there's a seam right down the middle as well as the sides.
On the side.
So I scooched it in from the middle, and then I scooched it in from the side as well. And so now it fits fine. Because you want it to have because even though it is baggy at the front, you also want it to be fitted so that it doesn't completely sag. And yeah, no, actually, I do have a lot of glitter on my pants now. But yeah, no, doing the straps, because they're quite thin and I don't have anything specific to pull it through. And so the first one was okay, but the second one took me ages. And then doing that as well, released some of the glue. So the strap itself was a little bit tacky for a little while.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so now I have a nice top for when I get to go to weddings again, which I think we've got one scheduled for the end of June.
This is Ian's wedding? Whose wedding is that?
No, it's one of Sam's friends.
Oh.
Trying to get this to.
That's a good look. It's a draped over her shoulder. It goes well with your peach and blue stripes.
Does it? Yeah.
Very nice. It looks really good together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so proud of you. Look at that.
Yeah. Just catching it with, because Emily's been doing a lot of sewing. Lots of sewing. Clothes sewing.
Good job. I'm impressed.
And those are the projects I have. Glitter. Right. Do you have any yarny bits and bobs?
I have not been bobbing about, so
just knitting.
No yarny bits and bobs. Just watching TV and knitting, and very little sewing. A little bit of sewing, but not as much. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to finish the sweater if I was doing more sewing.
Yeah. So mine is just, I haven't actually read it yet, but did I mention I got the first issue of Hidden Scotland's magazine?
I don't know that you mentioned it on the podcast, but you told me about it.
So Hidden Scotland is a website, and then a popular Instagram account, and they post lots of very picturesque photos of Scotland. And so they started a print magazine the end of last year. So this is the second issue. It's the spring-summer 2021, and there's a puffin on the front. But I wasn't actually planning on getting the second issue, but I had to because there is a feature on Jameson's of Shetland.
Oh.
An interview. So I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll get it. I mean, it's no hardship. It's it's full of pretty pictures. So Shetland textiles, sheep. And there's lots of pictures of sheep. End of the yarn.
Nice. And that's the yarn that I use for my Lovage sweater. All but one. The pink one was Jameson and Smith's, but the bulk of the sweater is Jameson's.
Confusingly. And then there's, I don't know what there's a article about Fair Isle at the end as well. So there's more pictures of sheep.
Ooh, look at the sheep.
But yeah, so if anyone is into Scotland and wants to do some travel via books and magazines.
Or you can watch Men in Kilts with Sam Hewen and what's the other guy's name? Forget.
Graham McTavish?
Yes, and Graham.
I said that, but I wasn't really sure. I was like, have I just made up a Scottish sounding name?
Is they on one of the episodes, one of the later episodes, they went to the Isle of Skye and they saw the Kilt Rock and was it
Old Man of Store?
Yeah, Old Man of Store, and it's like, oh, we've been there. So I was very
both
excited
those places,
to see that. Yes. And they did a little bit of bicycle riding around the island. I don't think they did very much, but it was very fun to watch.
Yeah. One thing I have learned though is I get made fun of by my lovely husband for saying Graham. Because they say Graham. It's like almost like two syllables.
Yeah. Isn't that how I say Graham too?
I say Graham, like as in
50 grams of yarn.
Measurement. Yeah, 50 grams of yarn. His name is Graham, not Graham. Graham. And then that's what I do to really overemphasize it. Graham.
Now you sound Southern.
Which Southern is pretty much one of the only accents I will deign to do. Sam has been trying to get me to put on a fake British accent, but I just absolutely refuse.
Well, you did learn to speak English in a Southern accent. Well, no, I did not learn. But when you're in your early childhood years, you did speak with a Southern accent.
I mean, I'm sure my Southern accent doesn't do justice to any actual real Southern accent, but...
Because it was Southern accent baby talk. You picked it up from the neighborhood kids and from your preschool teacher. And it's funny because sometimes you would come home and ask me, why is the teacher saying, whatever, and I had to translate for you. It's like, oh.
What, from Southern into non-Southern accent? Now I want to know what kind of words you mean.
Like, you had asked me why she said I different, like her eyes. And you were like, she's pointing at it, but she's not saying I. I was like, what is she saying? And then you imitated it. It's like, oh, that's just how they say it down here. And you didn't really understand the down here thing because that was all you knew. I mean, you weren't even one when we got to North Carolina, and you left when you were 7. So that's all you knew. But anyway, eventually you figured out that people outside the house spoke one way, and people at home spoke a different way.
Yeah, and I guess, well, the other thing I don't know if it's just having lived here for longer, you've always been good at picking up when actors are not native, like American accent speakers, and like you'll be like, oh, I think, I think they're British, or I think they're whatever. And I was just like, if you say so. But I've gotten better. There's been 2 times where I'm like, oh, I think you can tell, like they hit their R's too hard because they have to try extra hard, like have to say all my R's, like.
Well, speaking of accents, I guess I can talk about what I've been listening to, and it's in Audible they have these great courses series, and this one is for us word nerds. It's called The Secret Life of Words, English Words and Their Origins. And the lecture is done by a professor, Ann Curzan of the University of Michigan, which is funny because we are moving to Michigan, in the Ann Arbor area where the University of Michigan is. So she had actually was talking about like different accents, and she had talked about Michiganders, whatever you want to call them, their accents. And I was like, oh yeah, now I have to get used to that accent. And
what's distinctive about their accent?
Well, instead of saying bag, they say something that's closer to bag.
Bag, yeah. Oh, rough. Do they say rough as well? Or roof?
Yeah, but that's not necessarily like Minnesota. A Midwestern thing. Like Midwestern. Yeah, people in New York say roof too. I mean, it depends on where. And also like Mackinac Island is spelled Mackinac with an ACK at the end, but it's actually Mackinac or whatever.
But that's not necessarily an accent thing. That could just
that's not an accent thing.
Yeah, you try words. To say half of the place names here, you say them wrong because it's a word thing.
And pop instead of soda. Stuff like, there are some similar things to like Chicago because it's in the Midwest, and we've lived there too. So and so I did, when we were there very briefly, I did recognize like the person that we were talking to had I thought a pretty heavy Midwestern accent. And after I got in the car with your dad, he's like, I didn't notice it. And I was like, how can you not notice it? It was so strong. But yeah, I mean, besides accents, she talks about the etymology of words and stuff like that. So it's just right up my alley, being a word nerd. Which you actually studied a little bit in your linguistics minor.
Yes, I minored in linguistics.
So that's what I've been listening to, and there's 19 hours, and I only have 9 left.
Way through. Very good.
Yep. Okay. So that is all we have.
Yep. Spiel?
Spiel away.
Okie dokie. So you can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Our handle is also kcacypodcast. My personal Instagram is Alyson here, and my mom's is upstate_Viv. You can like and subscribe and comment and review the podcast on iTunes, wherever else you stream podcasts, as well as YouTube. You can join the Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast on the group tabs if you are so inclined. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye.
Bye.